Whoops, sorry about that. All right, well, thank you so much, everybody who has joined me tonight. Did you guys know I once flew a plane when I was like 13? That was pretty cool. Anyway, that has nothing to do with tonight. Thank you for joining me for BaronVonJedi, Sci-Fi to Muay Thai. This is the show where I'll be talking about everything when it comes to UFC 4 Discord leagues, mostly Discord. I will eventually get into some more ESFL type stuff later. Maybe eventually, but for right now it's gonna be mostly just Discord leagues. So the one that that I've been most heavily involved with is LionHeartMMA. It's one of the more newer leagues, I guess one could say, but still it's got some competitive players, it's got some newer players, so it's got a really good mix, and I can really appreciate the way that they kind of go about mixing up their fights. You know, the excuse me, the owner, Eli went away. He kind of goes by what's your furthest division in ranked you've gotten, right? So that kind of helps him gauge how to match make, which I think is a really smart way of doing things. Now there's other leagues that I'll be talking about. You know, a fantasy fighters league that just cropped up either yesterday or today, and it's all created fighters, and that should be interesting. We've also got Showtime MMA that I just recently heard of, the QFL, the EFC, the UCC, the CAF Fighting Championship, there's a lot of leagues out there. We'll get to them all eventually, but for right now, the one that I personally see as like the top of the top is Lionheart, albeit new, still competitive, active, and engaging. So now lately I've been given the daunting task of streaming the Lionheart cards. For the most part, they've gone well, except for Lionheart 5, which was an absolute shit show, which we can get to in just a minute. Lionheart 4 went pretty well. That I commentated by myself. Lionheart 5, I had a man who chose the name. I did not name him this. This is not a jab at him. This is the name the man chose. NavyCanuk. Alright? I didn't choose that name. That's his name. Okay? So NavyCanuk and I commentated LH5, which was a absolute disaster on my end, because I chose to try and do it off of Wi-Fi from the other side of my house. That didn't work. That did not work. So we got through it, but it was pretty rough. So but if this stream is any indication of what LH6 has to come, it should be silky smooth. So let's hope it stays like that. Anyway, we were supposed to have a couple more guests today, but we do have one very important guest. Today's guest, we will be speaking to DoodlebobMcGee, who is the current Lionheart champion, who just won the championship at Lionheart 5. He is a 3-0 champion currently. Excuse me. Guy is an absolute beast. The man can stand. He can control you on the ground. He can wrestle. He can basically do it all. For the most part, I believe I've seen him just fighting at bantamweight. But the man is a legend. So we will be talking to him shortly. I will see if he's available. And until then, we can talk about LionHeartMMA, which was DoodlebobMcGee's title win. Spoiler alert. So we had a couple good fights. McLevin versus Cole Ballistic starting off for prelims for LionHeartMMA did not happen. That ended up becoming a no contest. The first fight of the night started off with Whatever and Stuff versus So12. Whatever and Stuff pulled out the win. It was a very good fight. The next fight was Roscoe and Astro. Did not happen. Also another no contest. We had a lot of no contests during LionHeartMMA, mostly just people no showing or not getting a hold of their opponents. So I won't mention any further the ones that didn't show up, but I'll mention the ones that did. Now let's see. The last fight in the prelims was Dave Leo versus Lil Hot Hands. Both guys were 1-0 going into the fight, and Lil Hot Hands came out with what looked like a pretty easy TKO in round 1. Dropped Dave with the head kick, dropped him in the guard, followed up with punches, and that was the end of the night. So that's our prelims. We had a great fight between Lorne Darf and ACG on the main card, with ACG coming out as the victor via TKO in round 2. So congratulations to ACG once again. The next fight on the main card was Valkorion. Excuse me, I'm sure I'm butchering that, versus Corey. And I believe that this was a no contest. Wow, okay, well then that's my mistake. I guess I didn't write that in my notes. But I think that was actually a no contest. So anyway, we could get into my fight a little bit with DoodlebobMcGee, but instead I think we're going to see if we can get him on the show. Hopefully without further ado, we will get the DoodlebobMcGee. This is the only guy that I was actually able to get onto the show. And I believe we have him here now. DoodlebobMcGee, are you there, my friend? Oh, okay, here he is. All right, well, hold on one second. Let's see. All right. There we go. All right. So DoodlebobMcGee, welcome to the show. How are you today, my friend?
Pretty good.
All right. Well, you know what? Hang tight for me, my man. It looks like I'm having even further difficulties with, you know what I think it is? Hold on. Let's see. Man, this is always something. Always something. For some reason, you're coming through my monitor. So, I gotta figure out very quickly what the problem is. Output. How's that? Alright. Yeah, okay, alright, now I got you in my headphones. Now let's see if you're, okay, now you're, alright, now, here we go. Alright, now we're all fixed. So, welcome to the show, DoodlebobMcGee. Since I couldn't hear you before, how are you today, my friend?
Pretty good. Kind of tired, but I'm alive. Glad to be here.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, we're glad that that you're here and alive as well. And despite being tired, I appreciate you coming on the show. The only guy I was able to actually get on the show today. This is a show that's now 1 day late, and I've had 2 guests that had to cancel on me or postpone, those of which I will not name, but DoodlebobMcGee being the absolute mensch joining me today. What a guy. So DoodlebobMcGee, let's start off with what got you started in these leagues? Now when I joined, I was never really trying to be much of a competitor in them. I play a little bit, but that's not my main focus. My main focus was kind of this. So what got you started in these leagues?
Really, I just saw a post on Reddit. I'd already been playing UFC since it came out, and I thought it was okay. So I was like, hey, let me go ahead and try it out. I joined and I lost terribly my first 3 fights. It was god awful. Yeah, but I stuck around to it, joined a couple of leagues through just many different Discords here, some like come and go. I just kept, and it's always just been pretty fun to do. So
Yeah. So for sure. So like that's another thing is that like you've actually. I've told you about my quest to find as many of these leagues as possible. You've even shown me 1 or 2 leagues now. So how many of these have you come across that you're competing in?
I want to say maybe in total, maybe like 5 or 6.
Wow.
Like 5 or 6.
That's crazy. It's wild to see how many come and go, because I remember a league that I was playing in with back during the UFC Undisputed days, the Xbox 360 days, when there was no Discord. You had to put things together on like message boards and shit.
I kind of missed. I'm kind of sad I missed out on the Undisputed days when it was active and online, because I went back and played it like a couple years. Like
Did you?
Yeah, I still have it on my PS3, and it's so fucking good, man.
It's fun.
Still so good.
Yeah. So, right on. So, you say that you're just playing in these leagues for fun. I mean, is there any proper goal for you? I mean, or are you active in all of them? I mean, 5, that's a lot.
I'll dabble here and there, but there's no like big ultimate goal.
Yeah.
Just keep going until I get bored of the game.
Yeah. Or I guess until UFC 5 comes out, right?
Yeah. May continue on there too. We'll see what happens.
I mean, are you just a hardcore fan of MMA? You just casual with it? All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Because I used to be super hardcore, but I'm pretty casual with it now. I don't watch the fights that much anymore. I catch the highlights on Reddit and then I call it a day.
It was funny. Just before you called, I was watching the pre-fight conference with Sandhagen. Like, as it was just a way thing to call me.
I used to do stuff like that. I used to love watching the pre-fight press conferences and the post-fight stuff, but now I'm just kind of like, I can barely watch the fights. I think it's mostly just like seeing, oh Jesus Christ, I'm trying to catch my lighting right. I think it's just like getting older, and like I know the damage that those guys are taking, and it scares me.
No. And I feel like some people may just feel like it's just oversaturated just because there's cards every week versus just like a card like every couple of months or so.
That was
like there's just so much of it now.
Yeah, no, that was definitely kind of like my thing with it in the beginning when they were really like popping off with a lot of fights, is that you would see a card every week, and it's just like, dude, I don't like, there's so many names that I don't know, and I'm not gonna know because they're not gonna be in the UFC in 6 months from now. So it's like, why even bother trying to keep up with all of these different type? You know what I mean? Like, there's just too much.
I'm glad to see it like continue to grow though.
Oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I like seeing it grow, but I don't know. I guess there's just something nostalgic in having one fight card every 3 months.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's kind of like why I like Lionheart, is that it gives time to grow and give you something to look forward to. It's not a fight card every 3 days or every week. It's 2 weeks. Like, that's the longest that I've seen in a long time from any kind of league.
It just allows like just space to breathe and just for people to grow. Just try
Yeah.
days before they come back.
Yeah, and if for nothing else, just time to do something else. Anyway, so you know you're involved in a lot of leagues, but I do see you pretty heavily involved with Lionheart, just like in the Discord and everything. So I imagine that, because I see you watching the cards live when they happen. I imagine that if you're doing that, you're probably at least once going back and watching the card again on YouTube or whatever. Like, so I imagine that you're maybe like checking out the competition. Do you see anybody as like a challenger to your title now that you got it?
Not.
No. Be honest. This is raw and uncut, and listen, it's just between you and me. There's nobody here.
It definitely say you, but we've got some new guys that are joining. I want to see how they are. I want to see how some of these new guys are.
I don't feel like you can really say me anymore, bro. Like, we've had like 14, 15 fights, and I think I've won one. So this is it's no competition.
You didn't beat me once. It was more than once.
I don't think so. I think the record, I don't know. We'll have to go back and look again, but I'm pretty sure it's only one victory. But hey, it is what it is, right? Some people.
Someone I do want to play though is TB, just because he talks a lot in the Discord. I want to see how good he is.
Is he on PlayStation?
He's on Xbox.
Oh, he is. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah, I've seen you guys talking back a little bit back and forth. Do you have an idea of like what division he's like? Is he a main card kind of guy? Is he a prelim kind of guy?
I have no clue. Never seen him play before.
Never seen him play it before. All right. Well, I guess we'll have to see how that turns out. I know that you were kind of like, well, we'll see on the next card, and he's like, nah, let's fight right now. So I guess we'll see what comes of that.
Well, according to Eli, he beats me in the best of 3 in the spar, then he gets a title shot. So
Oh, okay. All right. Well, that might be interesting to see. Let's see a little background drama unfold and see what happens. All right. Well, very good. Right on. What? So it sounds like UFC is just kind of like, despite you being like a hardcore fan, as far as playing the game, you're kind of relatively casual about it. So like, what other games do you play?
Lately, today, as a matter of fact, I just started Hi-Fi Rush. I definitely see the hype. That game is fucking awesome.
Is it fun?
It's fun as shit. You got Game Pass, get it. Yeah. It's not that long of a game. It downloaded in like 10-20 minutes.
Yeah.
Dude, that game is fucking awesome. You got,
bro. I was thinking about it. I was like, man, that because like I watched the trailer, I looked at the reviews, and I'm like, bro,
it's really good.
Like, it looks good. And it looks like it kind of strikes those nostalgic feelings of like, all right, this isn't a game to be competitive. This is a game just to have fun.
Like, just again, dude, I haven't gotten too far into it just because I just started it today. Like, I just beat the first boss of the game, so I'm like, I'm finally like just learning different stuff and finally like exploring more of the world within the game. But it's really good so far.
From what I could tell from like the trailer, it looks like it has almost like a Jet Set Radio kind of exploration vibe to it, like very colorful but kind of free.
I'd say with the art style, not really with the exploration style. It really reminds me a bit of Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I've been wanting to check that game out. It seemed pretty cool. But I just haven't had the time between transitioning jobs and doing this and whatever. Excuses. But
yeah, no, that's fair.
No,
I did hear that Hi-Fi Rush is like 9 hours though, so it's not too big of a game.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah.
Damn, I didn't realize that was it. Okay. Yeah, I might have to check that out tonight. Shit. All right. Well,
what you been playing?
Um, I have mostly been playing UFC lately, just because I'm trying to keep up with all these leagues, man. I decided that despite going into them casually, like just kind of inserting myself here and there a little bit, into these different leagues, and I think I'm on like 1 or 2 cards now, and I don't remember signing up for them, so now I've got fights that I have to think about. But other than that, I was playing Rocket League a lot, but I kind of stopped that because it's a little too sweaty. So the only other game that I've really been playing is a game that it's an old game that I've never played before, and I always wanted to. Fable. I'm playing Fable. You never played it? It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I tried it. I couldn't really get into it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I might try it again though.
I'm getting a very like World of Warcraft kind of feel from it when I play it, so that's kind of like warming my heart a little. So I'm enjoying it. I have not gotten far in it at all, just because I haven't had time. I have had zero time to be playing anything really. So I've had just enough time to like playing these league fights, and then that's really it.
I try not to be like, well, not try to say, I end up like not getting like too involved, like too heavily involved in other leagues, just to like avoid burnout, and just to give myself just like time to try different stuff and just like have fun with the game first before like playing a different league. Because if I'm not having fun, then it's just gonna be terrible.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of like that's kind of how I went into these leagues to begin with, is just kind of have fun with it, because anytime that I went in to be competitive, I'd get my ass handed to me. So anyway, Doodle, I appreciate you joining the show today. That's really all that I have for you, my friend. But I appreciate you coming on and keep kicking ass, and hold on to that title for me, because hopefully I'll be back up there for it pretty soon. I got one fight against Zuliki, I think his name is Zulakai. So you know what, that's actually, before I let you go, that was one more thing that I want to ask you about. How come we're not seeing you on LH6?
So I'm just waiting for potential opponents. Having a hard time getting matchups.
Yeah, gotcha. Yeah. We need more Xbox guys in Lionheart. But that
waiting
seems
for these boys to level up. I need you guys to start getting better.
Well, that is the thing. Yeah, we need some of these main card guys to get a little better, just a little bit. But that seems like a big issue for a lot of these leagues, is that they don't have enough Xbox players. They got plenty of PlayStation.
That being said, though, I will take all challengers. And I might do a PlayStation fight too, but that's.
Oh, you got PlayStation?
Yeah, I got PlayStation 5.
Right,
so
okay,
you may see me on there, but I do prefer playing on Xbox.
Okay, all right, Doodle. Well, I greatly appreciate you coming on the show today, and we will talk to you again soon.
Sure thing, man. This was fun.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
All right, take care.
Later. All right, everybody, and that was DoodlebobMcGee, your Lionheart Xbox champion. Well, there you go. The guy needs more challengers, because if we keep fighting, it's just gonna get boring for him, and I can't keep having my ass kicked by the guy. So yeah, if we could get a couple more Xbox challengers in Lionheart, that would be really preferable. Anyway, we'll be getting into Lionheart 6 in just a moment, but to continue going over Lionheart 5, that was the shit show that everyone remembers. We did have our fight, DoodlebobMcGee and myself, and that was at bantamweight for the title, which I will have for you to view in just a moment. Anyway, we had a good fight. It was good. It was competitive. I was feeling like I was in my groove, especially in the second and third round, and then things started shifting, things started changing, and it is what it is. But overall, I believe it was a pretty good fight between the two of us. Myself, I used Dominic Cruz, DoodlebobMcGee, Corey Sandhagen in the blue corner. I'd say that we both did good. Corey Sandhagen, or excuse me, DoodlebobMcGee had great takedown defense against myself. You saw him reverse one of the takedowns right there. He does do it again in the first round. I was trying to mix it up for him, try and keep him live, keep him honest, and he did very good at defending my takedowns, even got me with the takedown at some point. So good with the switching stances, hitting all the right beats. Like I said, I felt like I was starting to get my groove at the end of the second round, maybe early third round. And listen, things happen, and your boy ate one of those head kicks, and that was it. We were doing good in this third round. We were, but there's not really much else that I can say for it. If you'd like to go back and watch the whole thing, it is on my YouTube channel. But this was our fight. Now, if you give me just a second, we can move on to the main event, main event, which was the PlayStation title fight between DFW King and Farouk Ovio. And this was a fight that these guys were good, man. I think I probably would have had my ass handed to me in more ways than one, but these guys were good. Like, I was thoroughly impressed with their movements, with their faking, with their ground game, and there was a lot of times that DFW King was in trouble. It looked like Farouk had this fight in a lot of different ways. Now you see DFW King there, he scored the takedown after defending one himself, but it was not often DFW King's fight. I'm sure if we can hit some highlights, some random shots. Now this was a long fight. I believe that this fight ended in the fourth round, and for those of you who don't know, DFW King is your PS King in Lionheart. The guy he would just not go away, and Farouk just could not really put him away. These guys put on a great fight, and DFW King did actually make it out. Make it out of the fourth round with this submission here, and it looked close. It looked like Farouk was going to be able to pop out of it, but I believe at the end of the third round, Farouk had dropped King, was in knee on belly, pounding shots away, and was just getting real tired real quick. It looked like King had no shot here at submitting him, and in the very last second caught him, tightened that, cinched up the submission, and that was all she wrote. It was in quite a dramatic fashion because, like I said, it looked like King for the most part was not going to be winning this fight. It looked close, but it didn't look like he was going to be winning anytime soon. So it was actually thoroughly enjoyable to not only watch that fight, but watch King kind of be the underdog of that fight. And and take it to Farouk. Put this, slap the submission on him and actually get it. So congratulations to King. And hey, listen, congratulations to Farouk. Despite not winning, you put on a hell of a fight, man. And I think, it's safe to say that, people will be looking forward to both your guys' fights in the near future. Now, with that said, we can quickly go over the LH6 card, and hopefully we'll have more people showing up this time. I do see 1 or 2 people, maybe 3 people on the next card. Quite a few people actually on the next card that have not yet fought in Lionheart. So for Lionheart 6, we're going to be main eventers on the PlayStation side. CIP, who I've seen this guy everywhere in every league, all the time. He is asking for a spar, so that would be interesting to see him coming in at coming in as the main eventer. Excuse me, sorry. Last minute changes, sorry. Coming in as the main eventer, especially against this guy Dominic Cruz user, who has changed his name a couple times, but we'll just call him Dominic Cruz user. This fight is going to be at featherweight for the main event, for the PlayStation's main event. CIP versus Dominic Cruz user at featherweight. So that will be interesting. Neither of these guys have a record in Lionheart, and they're going straight to the main event, so we'll see what happens. On the Xbox side, we have your boy at a banging record of 1-2 versus the newbie Zulakai. This fight will be at welterweight, and anyway, main card fight. So main card, we have 2 PlayStation fights, 2 Xbox fights. We have Moneybag Toe, who's 0-1 versus Corey, who is currently unranked. This fight will be at welterweight. I believe Corey was supposed to have a fight last on LH5, and that just didn't happen. So, Corey, let's see if we can get you to fight, my guy. Next on the PlayStation main card is Lil Hot Hands, who's 2-0 versus whatever and stuff, 1-0 at lightweight. Both guys are they come in ready to bang, so let's see what they got. Somebody's has got to go, right? Well, let's see it. On the Xbox side, we have a Bloody Bathter, who I vaguely remember. I mean, I definitely remember the name. I'll have to go back and maybe, hopefully, if we still have footage, rewatch that fight. But I do remember Bloody, and I think that he comes in swinging versus Ave Karma at middleweight. Ave Karma or Avenue Karma, not yet ranked, not yet fought in Lionheart, so he is without a record. For the next and last Xbox fight on the main card, it will be Tuna Sub Backwards, who's 0-1 versus Lauren Darf, 2-1 at welterweight. We'll see what happens to these guys. On the prelims, we have 2 PlayStation and 2 Xbox. On the PlayStation side, we'll be having 1-2 versus Truly Ghost at bantamweight. Both guys are 0-1, so somebody's got to leave with a win. We'll see what happens. Now, I believe it was 1-2 who there was a little bit of a controversy with their fight. Was it this? maybe it was LH4. No, it was this. It was LH5. Yeah, it was some back and forth, and it was, you know, it was a little bit my mistake. But anyway, we got it figured out. Unfortunately, Wonsu lost his last fight, but he does have time for redemption with this fight. And I think he'll be able to do it. This fight will be at bantamweight. So for the next PlayStation prelim fight, we have Off the Chain versus Approved 56 at featherweight. Approved 56 has had no fights in Lionheart. Off the Chain is 1-1, so we'll see what happens there. For the last two fights, we're going on into the Xbox realm with Denny versus MQ Money. Denny is 2-0. Money is 1-1. This fight will be at lightweight. Denny is a banger and ready to go. I remember watching that guy, and he came out with some fire last time, so it'll be fun to watch him again. And for the last fight on Xbox, we have LH5, who's 0-1 versus a newcomer Butch at middleweight. Don't know anything about Butch. Can't remember too much about Hypa, so we'll see what happens. Now, since we have had a last minute change up, I'm going to be inviting on another guest, somebody who has been commentating with me, who has been helping me admin the hooligans jabronis in the Lionheart Discord. If I can get my man on a call, I believe his name is NavyCanuk, and we are gonna have him join us shortly. I believe there he is now. Navy.
Hello, hello.
All right, there he is. Well, hello, Navy, my friend. How are you tonight?
I'm not bad, man. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for joining me. I appreciate you coming on the show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, dude. Anytime.
All right. So I don't know if you've had a chance to listen to any of DoodlebobMcGee or any of the LH6 card. But what are your thoughts on both Doodlebob and LH6, since I have you here?
Well, I think Doodlebob's incredibly good looking, and I had to go on a date with him anytime. Now, for the LH6 card, I have a particular interest in this card because I've been heavily training whatever and stuff for his fight against Little Hot Hands. So I've kind of got a bit of a stake in this one.
Wow, interesting. So, now wait. Now hold on. Now, Navy, you're a competitor, right? You're competing. You're competing in Lionheart, right? So, and you're competing in PlayStation, right?
I am.
Okay, and whatever and stuff is in PlayStation, right?
That is correct.
And so is Little Hot Hands.
That is also correct.
And you're helping Little Hot Hands.
Absolutely.
Against whatever and stuff.
Yeah, it didn't intentionally come up that way. I essentially been training whatever and stuff since he joined the server because he was asking for people with a little more experience to kind of help shape him up a little bit. So I'm like, well, absolutely, whatever. I mean, I don't have the most knowledge, but whatever knowledge I have, I mean, I'll help the guy out. And then we started seeing Little Hot Hands kind of start getting geared up in the trash talking section, and it was getting quite a bit. And he's whatever and stuff messaged me. He's like, bro, like I think I'm gonna need some help with this. I'm like, bet, let's fuck him up.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Well, interesting. So I mean, like, I guess, like, what does that mean for you? Have you thought about this as a competitor? Because I mean, like, at some point, if you know, little homie there is gonna get good enough, he's gonna get to the point where you may have to fight him.
Oh, and that's fine. Then I'll read as you would be after the fight. But for now, I'm going to just, you know, train up the best I can, and then we'll put all camaraderie aside, and we'll do what we have to do. Like, I think me and you were talking about this before as well, but like me and Farouk are very, very close friends outside of this Discord. But if we can avoid the fight, sure. But if not, I mean, it is what it is. Just as like fighting in real life is a business, that's you got to put it aside.
Sure. Okay. All right. Interesting. So, I mean, you were talking about, helping these guys out. You've been doing the whole admin thing for as long as I have, and Lionheart. Now, I don't know if you've had any previous Discord admin experience. I personally haven't, but this is kind of my first rodeo. But what are your thoughts? What's your ideas for Lionheart? Like, what are your thoughts on Lionheart? From the perspective of an admin so far.
Well, I'm kind of in the same boat you are. I've had a lot of admin and mod experience outside of Discord. Like I do a lot of them on Facebook, and it's similar, but it is different. As far as what I want to see going forward with Lionheart, and I think it's going to come to a consensus with all of the admins, is I'd like to start seeing championships made not specifically based on just console. I want us to get our numbers up to the point where we can start having them maybe for the divs or set like div ranges, because I'm starting to feel like, there might be guys that, they plateau at division 11 or 12. And it's just not a fault of theirs. It's just as good as they get, but they're never going to get a shot at the title. And if we want us to keep people in, I think that's kind of a move we need to start making.
Yeah. What I've always assumed would happen for right now, at least until we get more players, is that it's just basically going to be me and Doodle, and I've come to realize very quickly that that's not, we may put on good fights, but people are only going to want to watch that so many times before they get bored of it. So.
Well, that's right. It's like Figueiredo and Moreno 17. You know what I mean? Like don't get me wrong, it's a banger every time, but it does end up becoming a little stale.
Yeah, true. So, I mean, I guess, you're looking at LH6. You've got Doodle, who's stepping away just to see if there can be some more challengers other than myself. You've got myself as a main event with this new guy, Zulukai. I mean, what do you think about that?
See, I don't know a lot about Zulukai, but I do know a lot about you. So I think it's going to be very dependent on the style of fight that's brought forth to you. I haven't seen an extreme amount of grappling from you, so I'd be very curious to see if someone approaches you very grapple heavy. But I would have fair confidence that if it stays on the ground, I think you've got a fairly good shot, my guy.
Okay, well, I mean, I appreciate the vote of confidence. You're right. We haven't seen Zulukai fight, so who's to say that he's not a Division 20 like just banger killer? So. Who knows? We'll see come next Monday, I guess, right?
What are your thoughts on the CIP versus the sometimes he's a Dominic Cruz user, sometimes he's a Shavkat user?
I'm interested in that actually, genuinely, because I know that Dominic Cruz player has he's been asking for a fight for a while now. What feels like almost more than 2 weeks. Like because I know that he got into Lionheart either shortly before or shortly after Lionheart 5. So it's been almost about 2 weeks for the guy, and I feel like he's been asking for a fight almost longer than that. And then CIP, he the man is asking for a spar every hour on the hour, so
the man's hungry for them. It's true.
He's hungry for a fight, so I'm interested to see what comes of them. Although I don't know what division they're typically in, like what's their highest divisions.
Well, I can tell you because I've actually fought both gentlemen. They're both between that 16 to 18 range.
Okay.
Like they're good. Like don't get me wrong, they're very good. But me being a Division 12 player, I can still easily hold my own and keep the fight going till the end of the bell if I really wanted to. So, and that's not a diss on them, but a true Division 20 should be clapping my cheeks every time. And whereas these guys are having difficulties from the lower divisions, so that's why I say you're looking at somewhere between the 16 to 18 range.
Gotcha. Well, typically around that range is when you have much more technical fights. So it'll be, at the end of the day, it'll be interesting to see what comes of them, especially from your perspective, because you say you've played both of them, right?
I played CIP in a different server
Oh,
about a year ago, I think. And from what we were matched up against a card, and now granted, not making any excuses, but at that time I was more closer to a Division 7 or 8 player.
mhm,
But the man whole-handedly handed me my ass. Like it was unbelievable.
mhm.
I believe it was a first round knockout within the first like 2 minutes. And I did play the cruise user in a spar about a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and we had two matches and he won both. But the first one, it wasn't a complete blowout and it went the full 5 rounds on real time clock. So if I was to give an edge, I would give a slight edge to CIP.
Gotcha. Well, all right. Well, that's cool. That'll be interesting to see what comes of that fight come Monday. I had to close my window because there is somebody screaming absolute bloody murder out, and it's distracting. So, what are your well, okay, so I've noticed that maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you fought at LH4. I know you didn't fight at LH5. You're not fighting at LH6. When are we gonna see Navy fight again?
Buddy, I have been banging down Eli's door for a fight. It's one of those things that we're getting these new guys in the servers, and I think the motif is to get these guys on a card. But I mean, if I could fight 10 minutes ago, I would be. It doesn't matter to me what division it is, and it doesn't matter who they're using. If they set them up, I'm going to knock them down. So.
All right, very good. So I mean, is that maybe we'll see you at LH7 perhaps?
Buddy, if it'll be an absolute crime against humanity if they don't set me up for LH7.
I mean, come on, like we haven't seen you in a while, and I'm over here thinking like, does this guy even like, is he trying to fight anymore, or like has he just taken the nice cushy commentary job and called it a day?
No, buddy, I'm one of 4 people on the server that's 2-0, and I plan on increasing those numbers.
Okay, all right, fair. Man, makes me wish I had my PlayStation still. I'd be cracking it out with the rest of you.
Oh, I know, and that's a shame because we do have a few more PlayStation users, so there'd be a little bit more versatility.
Yeah. So I mean, well, I guess you don't have an Xbox. Damn. I want to talk to somebody who has both games on both or like the same game on both consoles, because I want to know what people's thoughts are on the competition for each console.
That's right.
So what are your you recently started doing this whole commentary thing with me on the LionHeartMMA fight cards. What do you think of it so far? You like doing it?
It's a lot of fun. I mean, if I'm honest, like it's really nice to be able to sit back with people who know the sport, know the game. We can sit back and analyze and break things down, make up new perspectives. And I know at the same time, if there's 10 people listening, there's going to be 2 of those guys who are seriously taking it to heart and learning from it. And that's why I want to do it.
Yeah. So your focus is like your audience is these guys who are division 5 through 10, 11, 12, like just trying to help them out, kind of give them a new set of eyes on like what's happening in these fights, and like explain like how why these guys are doing what they're doing.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's pretty much, I want to say, my sole intention, because it's fun. I like cracking jokes, like having a good time. But the purpose, and I would go as far as this, the sole reason this was organized, this whole thing, was to be in a community to make each other better. And if I can't do that on commentary, then I'm not sure my input's that valid, if I'm honest.
Mm-hmm. Right on. So you're planning on sticking with the commentary team. I think we even spoke about once Eli is ready to do it again, with all 3 of us going at it.
Yeah, I mean that'd be great. Like me and you were discussing before, Eli brings such a good analytical perspective to the cards that it would really be good to for one to bounce ideas off each other as to what we think people on the fights could be doing better, or what they're doing really well, or maybe we don't agree and we can kind of work it out and see what each other's perspective on matters are, and we can do it all together. And I think how we even discuss with each other behind the curtain is really good. I think it would translate over really well onto a card.
Yeah, yeah. So I guess with when speaking about these cards and like how they're put together, like what are your thoughts on that? Like as far as how Eli, match makes and puts these fights together, because really at the end of the day, that there's the two of us, but we're not really doing much compared to him. He's still the only one putting these matches together.
Yeah, if I'm honest, and again, it's all respect to Eli, I think there is some ways that maybe I would organize it a little differently. However, I see how it's organized now and it makes sense. But I would like to start seeing, and not just myself included, but these guys that are getting 2-0, 3-0, and there's gonna be the guys that are getting 4-0, even if they are Division 14 or whatever. Put those guys in the main event. Those are the people that are gonna want to be seen.
Sure. Well, I would. I imagine with how well that Eli has put these together, or put the fights together so far, I'd imagine that's probably something that he's got in mind. I would like to think. I imagine that he's probably just waiting for those guys to get 2-0, 3-0, 4-0 to finally be like, okay, like just like in the real UFC, like you've gotten your fights in, you've proved that you can make it to the top. Well, here's your shot. Now go get it.
Yeah, I would think that's not the thought process, but at least I would hope that's the thought process.
I hope so. I mean, I feel like the way that he's put these fights together so far has been really well, and I understand keeping the main events in the 17, 18, 19, 20 divisions, but yeah, I mean, if you got a division 14, 15, 16 guy who is 3-0, 4-0, 5-0, and you got division 18 guys who are 1-2, it's like you can't put the division 18 guy who's 1-2 over the guy who's 4-0 just because he's in a different division. Like, you got to give homie his crack.
And that's kind of where I'm leading. And if I may make a small shout out / fight request, obviously I have my own interest in mind. I know I want to be fighting for the belt fairly soon, so I want to know where Farouk's hiding.
Whoa, okay. Even after seeing his performance last week, you're still gonna call out Farouk.
It's hard to perform when you're unconscious.
Damn, that's dark. Damn, okay. All right. Well,
but I want to see that more in the chat, though. I want to see more of these guys, like little hot hands. These guys are calling people out, and this is what people want to see.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of like what I was saying a couple of weeks ago, is that I want people to feel comfortable getting on the show, getting on the mic, and kind of doing like not just the post-fight interviews, which I think would be really cool, and just overall fun, but like pre-fight promos, like pre-fight voice promos, where you just break out your phone, take a little voice memo of you just talking shit or calling out your boy, and then plug that into the chat.
That's what I'm thinking. Or, I don't remember if you remember back in the day, in professional boxing, they used to have it on ESPN, where they would sit these guys in the same room for like an hour and just let them shit talk. And it was so good and so entertaining, and it was one of those things where people were bringing up valid facts, people were bringing up facts that weren't relevant, but they were still hilarious, and it keeps people enticed, and we might start getting a large percentage of the people on the server watching the live events if they're like, oh, it's another Navy and Gottlieb kind of fight, well, we gotta see it. And not to boast, but when me and Gottlieb fought, there was like 13 people watching that day.
Yeah, and those numbers are just going to keep growing, especially as the stories keep, creating themselves. That's all it is. It's just, it needs people, and it needs people to just talk a little shit, man. I mean, it ain't going to hurt you.
No, at the end of the day, it's a game. Don't make things too weird. Don't go Connor and Khabib where you're bringing up things you shouldn't. But, I mean, make it a little juicy. I mean, if you think the guy's hot garbage, tell him to his face. You're hot garbage, and you're down and under a round.
Nah, fuck it. Bring up all the inappropriate shit, too.
Sorry, bring up his religion.
Throw a fucking dolly. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, that's right. But it breaks for entertainment, and that's half of what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're right. Like, at the end of the day, it's a game. This is supposed to be for fun. I mean, I'm doing this whole ass podcast just for fun. So, yeah, I mean, it does, you know, none of this really means anything at the end of the day. Like, we're not making careers off this shit. So,
No, it's just a good time, and like a good example of like little hot hands and whatever and stuff. We're going at it back and forth in the chat, and I was making sure to throw shade, little hot hands away for two reasons. One, the man's garbage, and two, because if that keeps going and I keep fueling a fire that's ongoing, I might fuck around and put these guys on the main card, and look what happened.
Sure. Yeah. What do you think about rankings? We don't have any rankings in Lionheart.
I was thinking about this the other day, actually, and I actually think we're now kind of at the point where this can be a thing. Now we have people that are, we have Doodlebob 3-0, who's a champion. Then we have people that are 2-0, 2-1, 1-1, 1-2. You have a system in place now where you could make valid rankings, and
Yeah.
I'd like to see it implemented, because then people can make proper callouts and they're not out of line.
Right. Yeah. I think having things divided by division kind of kept people in groups, so you can kind of at least sort of narrow down like who you can call out or who would be worth calling out for your time. But yeah, I think having rankings, especially now, people got records. Like, we're what, 2 months, 3 months into this already. Like, we got to get people, so you know, a number next to their name.
Yeah, I think so. And like you made a very good point that like me being a division, it's, I think I'm listed as like the 10 to 14 or whatever it's listed as. If I call out an 18 to 20, people will be like, oh, look at the shit talk, but that fight's never going to happen because it's never going to get set up based on the way how things are set up. Right? So it's like, why would I put on my Colby Covington mask when it's going to get me nowhere?
Sure.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
but
why shoot for the stars if I know the stars won't come to me?
Yeah, but if your rankings and he's division 18 but he's ranked 2 and you're division 14 and you're ranked 3 or 4, it makes a lot more sense. You can make that argument now.
Absolutely, and it's a big thing, and that's why I was glad when we started doing like the fighter of the night, the fight of the night, and stuff like that, because at least with people with those badges, they kind of had merit. They'd be like, yeah, I'm a division 7, but I'm a 2-time fighter of the night. Let's fucking go.
Right. Yeah, and that's something that they can like put in the face of like a guy like me who's division 18 and doesn't have a fight of the night. You know what I mean? It's like, well, where's your fight of the night? Like, you're this fucking hot shot, right? So what's up?
Yeah, people want to see me. They don't want to see you. And like you could make it whatever you want it to be, and then you're selling the fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Navy, I appreciate you coming on tonight. I wish that I had more for you, but I believe it's time that we end this episode. So, be it that it was my first episode, I greatly appreciate you coming on. You will be back, whether by choice or by force.
Buddy, anytime you want me, just send me a message and I'll make sure I come on for you.
Awesome. I appreciate it, Navy.
All right, man. Have a good night, eh?
You as well. Take care.
Take care.
Bye. NavyCanuk, everybody. One of a kind. Let me reiterate, I did not choose that name. He chose it. So, with that said, this was the first episode of BaronVonJedi Sci-Fi to Muay Thai. I greatly appreciate all 2 and 3 people who joined me tonight. The episode will be found on my YouTube channel. If you so happen to feel inclined to rewatch, re-listen, tell your friends, tell your mother, tell your father, hide your sister, and all that good jazz. Thank you to DoodlebobMcGee. Thank you to NavyCanuk for joining me tonight. You guys have been fantastic. This was a lot of fun. I'm gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again. Although I didn't get to talk more about the other leagues, there is so much to talk about. I'm gonna get into it some more later, another time. But for now, we are out. Maybe we'll be back next week. Peace.